My, does time surely pass. Well, since I have nothing better to do, might as well check the progress on my last video. Well, considering my channel size, I don't expect it to reach March. But the more important part is that I had fun anyway. So let's check the analytics, shall we? Oh dear Jesus. Well, that was really unexpected. I know you probably clicked on the video already expecting me to talk about the booster course pass, but before I do, I want to give a thanks to everyone who watched my last video, or at least in some way engaged with it. I know 200 views really isn't much in the grand scheme of things, but to me that means a lot, and it means that I was able to at least reach someone who was willing to listen to me. So I suppose in that aspect, I really thank all of you. I will also like to thank everyone for allowing me to have my N64 video reach 100 views. So thank you all so much. But what's really important is that as long as everyone is enjoying the content and having a healthy discussion, that's what I care most about. But enough with the teary-eyed theatrics. Let's get to the video already, shall we? Good? Great. The first course to start this video off, as well as starting the whole pass for Wave 6, is none other than a tour track. And the tour track that I specifically chose for this was Roman Raceway. Okay, call me Eurocentric as much as you please, but there's no denying that Rome is a beautiful place. Now granted, I can see how stylistically it can mesh with pre-existing courses like Athens Dash, but to be quite honest with you, I'm pretty sure they'd go a different direction with Rome anyway. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see courses that come from Cairo, Egypt, or any of the Asian countries. But I have priorities, and that priority is conquest. But all joking aside, imagine all the famous landmarks that we can see in a Mario Kart City track for this. Like the Roman Colosseum, the Roman Pantheon, and I totally didn't pick Rome because I'm a frickin' JoJo nerd. Besides, what would give you that idea? So yes, the city course that I picked for this wave will be Rome. Because why not? Now, the next selection is a little complicated, as I chose 3 different courses from 3 different games, because for this slot in particular, I have no idea what on earth could be in this slot. All because of Waluigi Stadium and Maple Treeway switching spots between waves. So for this slot, I specifically picked 3 courses to represent 3 games. Those games being Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart Wii, and Mario Kart Double Dash. So the way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to say it in the order where I would want them the least. Meaning that the first one I mention will be the one that I do not want in out of all of them. And what better way to start that off with the Double Dash track, Daisy Cruiser. Look, I've never really understood the appeal for Daisy Cruiser. Sure, it's better than Peach Beach by a few margins, but then again, it's not even on my top 10 favorite Double Dash courses, so yeah, I never had high hopes for this track to begin with. Now, though, I do remember someone mentioning that Daisy Cruise would be more likely in Wave 5 due to its summer aesthetic and the fact you're on a cruise. Now, I would have completely agreed with it if it wasn't for the fact that I would have preferred Mushroom Bridge or Mushroom City over Daisy Cruiser or Peach Beach. Not to say that Mushroom Bridge is more likely, it's more so because it's a preferential thing. Either way, one of the 2 of those Double Dash courses are gonna get in. Or maybe both of them, who knows? Then we move on to the second one I listed, which comes from Mario Kart Wii, and it's the very infamous Koopa Cape. Ooh, I wonder what kind of comments I'm gonna get afterwards. Yes, I prefer Dry Dry Ruins over Koopa Cape. What of it? Now look, I'm not denying that Koopa Cape is good or bad by any means. In fact, I actually quite like the track. The music is quite nice to listen to sometimes. But here's the major problem. Tour! That is where all of our issues stem from, and that is where they will continue to stem from. Because you see, like I mentioned in my last video, Koopa Cape got a bit of a downgrade, and that downgrade resulted in its half-pipe section being changed to the underwater section, and the fact that all the rocks look like they came from Cheeseland. So in other words, it got Rock Mountained. And considering that the Nintendo dev team behind the Booster Course Pass has refused to change the textures for these rocks, yeah, don't get your hopes up. In fact, it was kind of a miracle that they actually went back to change the cars in Coconut Mall. Ever since then, they haven't really changed much. So yes, would I be upset if Koopa Cape were to get in? No, not really. But I would slightly be disappointed. Now we move on to the final one that I listed for this slot, and frankly, I believe it should have been in the Booster Course Pass since Wave 3, and should have gotten a slot in Wave 4, but was wrongly, usurped. Get your hands together, because the course I picked was DS Airship Fortress. Yeah, I'm one of those people, if it wasn't obvious by now. I love Airship Fortress, and it broke my heart when I saw that the final DS track was Mario Circuit. And to me, that was injustice. So I believe that if they were to do a real final DS course, this should be it. Not only would this course benefit from having a Mario Kart 8 upgrade, not only in just visuals, but also in the audio department. This track is also fun to play on, and considering its final boss-esque nature, considering that in DS it was in the Star Cup, it would make absolute sense to have a course like this in the final wave of the Booster Course Pass. But hey, this is just me being extremely biased, and spiteful, don't forget about that one. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, because from this point forward in the Acorn Cup, there's not really much to go off of, and by that I mean the rest of the tracks are just nitros. So considering that I lack much creativity in some areas more than I simply chose to go with the popular consensus for the third slot and pick a bathroom-based track. Okay, who at Nintendo is greenlighting these? A bathroom course? If you ask me, this is going to be the most out-of-place course in the entire game. Sure, you could have made an argument for Sky High Sunday, but then again, we had Sweet Sweet Kingdom, so I don't know what to tell you about that one. If anything, they could just reference Mario Party DS or something, considering in that game there was a bathroom minigame. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this one, other than the fact that, according to Mario Kart Tour leaks, this has been data mined in the files for a while. I just don't know how to feel about this one. Moving on to the second Nitro course in a row, we have the infamous Mob DK track. So everyone has been saying that this will be a Donkey Kong themed course, and I kind of see it. I mean, yeah, duh, it has the initials DK, so obviously people are going to assume it's a Donkey Kong themed course. However, I decided to be creative when talking about this course, because you see, instead, have you ever heard of Diddy Kong Racing? In case you haven't, that sucks. Research it. But to put it simply, it was an N64 racing game that got remade on the DS, because most N64 games did that, apparently. So I opted to pick a course from that game to represent the Mob DK track, and the one that I ended up picking was Haunted Woods. Yeah, I know none of you were expecting that one. My only case for adding this track is the fact that, considering that the Acorn Cup lacks any Halloween representatives, this Nitro track could do it justice, but other than that, there's not really much of a case to be made for this one. Like, this is just me being creative, folks, don't take this prediction seriously. And just this one, because I know in about a few months' time I'm going to be proven wrong. So, yeah. But now that we covered all the tracks in the Acorn Cup, I think it's safe we can move on to the Spiny Shell Cup. Oh, what I wonder could await me there. The final part of Wave 6. Arriving at the final cup felt like it took forever, but since we're here, we can now introduce the final Mario Kart Tour City track, which is one that has been hyped up ever since the start of the Booster Course Pass, and that course is Vancouver Velocity. I honestly don't see where else this course would fit, as usually the last course is meant to be reflective of Christmas and the winter, and what better course to represent those two things, well, more so one of those things, is in Vancouver Velocity, the only city course to have snow in it, as of now. I feel like I needed to make that distinction just in case I get proven wrong later. More importantly, I'm excited to hear the music and the visuals, considering that in each wave the city courses have gotten better and better. Although I do have a feeling though that nothing is going to beat Singapore Speedway's nightlife. However, this course has been done to death already, considering that this course is the most talked about when referring to the Spiny Shot Cup, so I won't lend your ear for too long. Moving on. Alright, the next course that we have is another Double Dash course. Now, there are two options for this. Either go with the course that didn't give me trauma, or go with the course that did. So I obviously picked DK Mountain. For everyone that's going to say that DK Mountain is far too similar to DK Summit, just so that we're aware, those two courses were in the same game at one point. Yeah, it's called Mario Kart Wii. So if Nintendo was willing to do that way back when, then I'm pretty sure they're willing to do it now. And I know this isn't really much of a reason, but do keep in mind that in Mario Kart 4, you have DK Pass, DK Summit, and DK Mountain all in the same game. So if you ask me, I don't think Nintendo cares about repeating themes. I just think that they care about putting something that I think the fans will like. But then again, Wave 4 happened. So, yeah. And for those who may be wondering why I labeled Dino Dino Jungle traumatic, you're just gonna have to wait for the reason why, as that will appear in a later video that I plan to make at a later date. So if you're willing to stick around, I suggest waiting until that day comes. But until then, just know that I absolutely despise that course with every bone in my body. Granted, DK Mountain's not my favourite course in the world, but it's tolerable. So yes, out of the two courses that Nintendo could pick for this, I personally think they'll go with DK Mountain, because it's a funner course than Dino Dino Jungle, at least in my opinion. Oh boy, welcome back to Ceraiza's Creative Hour, where essentially, she now has to figure out what Nitros belongs in this slot. And the idea I came up with this one also has to do with Bowser. Specifically, World Bowser from Super Mario 3D World. Okay, hear me out. I know in the previous video I stated that I would love to see 2 Bowser castles in that wave. However, this is just no ordinary Bowser castle. No. I'm also referring to the Carnival-esque theme of World Bowser, or whatever amusement park theme it's going for. So, considering its amusement park aesthetic, I can see many track opportunities to arise from this. Hell, if Nintendo can figure out how to make a fun and functional Yoshi's Island track, then I'm pretty sure they can make a fun and functional World Bowser track. Besides, I'm sure it's not rocket science. And now the final track to conclude the entirety of the Booster Course Pass. And conveniently, it comes from the debatably best game in the series, Mario Kart Wii. But now, I have to wonder, what could they possibly end the final track on? It's Rainbow Road. It's not even subtle, it's Rainbow Road. So yeah, considering that in Wave 3 the final track for that line was 3DS Rainbow Road, it only makes sense to end this final line with Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road. No, Nintendo, I like crying all night knowing that I will never get a GBA Rainbow Road remake. Totally. But other than that personal gripe, I'm pretty excited that we'll be getting Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road in this game. Considering how expectedly beautiful 3DS Rainbow Roads was, I can only imagine how beautiful Mario Kart Wii Rainbow Roads is gonna be, all down to the music and the finer details. However, it would be pretty funny if this did not actually end with Rainbow Road, and instead ended on like, I don't know, Moonview Highway or something. Or maybe Toad's Factory. But then again, I'm slightly kidding all of you. As much as I would love to see both of those courses, I don't think they'll make an appearance. Unless that alleged second Booster Course Pass is true, then possibly we'll see them. But other than that, I wouldn't hold your breath on it. So yeah, those were my predictions for all of Wave 6. I once again want to thank all of you for watching, and thank all of you again for supporting my last video, which currently, as of me recording and editing, because I do both of those simultaneously, it is almost about to reach 500 views, which I can't be ever so grateful. But hey, once again, just glad you enjoyed the content, and if I was able to achieve my goal of starting a discussion, then I'd say I'm pretty content with myself. And besides, making these videos is plentiful of fun, so expect more of this sort of content to come out of me. So alas, I leave you with this. My name is Ceraiza Valentine, and I hope you had a cherryful time. Wait, what's going on? Where am I going? What? We are in space now? Why the hell are we in space now? Where are we going? What? How the hell did I even get in here? Well, this is my life now. It's pretty quiet up in space. I wonder what anime they have on the shuttle. Well, no harm in looking, right? Wait. What the hell is that? Oh no, no, no.